This is a video to share some ideas about how you might be able to support the person that you care for who might be experiencing anxiety at the moment. Anxiety is a very common emotion for everyone to feel, particularly at the moment. When things happening around us are new, uncertain, or unpredictable, it can increase how anxious we feel. There hasn't been a situation like coronavirus within most people's lifetimes, so it's understandable that everyone, including the people that we care for, might feel anxious about what's going on in the world. The most influential factor in stopping coronavirus from feeling traumatic for people with learning disabilities is how those around them respond to them, and how heard, emotionally safe, and connected they then feel. So, being able to notice when the person you support is feeling anxious and respond helpfully is really important. You might be able to tell that the person you care for is anxious by noticing the way that they're thinking. Are they talking more regularly about something and feeling stuck on that topic? It might be felt physically in their bodies, perhaps through tummy aches, muscle pain or tension. Also, it might be visible in the way that they behave, perhaps difficulty concentrating, difficulty sleeping, or feeling overly tired. Have you noticed any of these signs in the people that you care for? Have they experienced any of these over recent weeks? Sometimes a low level of anxiety is helpful because it can help us to solve problems and get things done. But at other times, anxiety becomes too big and becomes unhelpful. This is when it might get in the way of the person you support being able to live in the way that they want to. When it's getting in the way, we can try to do something about it to change how much anxiety they feel. So, what can you do to support the person that you care for when they're feeling anxious? Technique 1. Reassurance. Firstly, it's helpful to reassure the person that they are safe. In uncertain times, it's comforting to be told by the people close to us that we're safe. However, this should be done honestly and realistically. Someone you care for might ask questions like, will I get coronavirus? Will you get coronavirus? Or will you have to go into hospital? Whilst we can provide reassurance that we're doing all we can to remain safe, it's not helpful to cover up the difficult truth in answer to these questions. Try to be reassuring without making promises that we don't know the answer to. For example, you could reassure by saying, if we make sure we wash our hands and we keep distance from other people, we're as safe as possible. Some people we know might get ill from coronavirus. The doctors and nurses in the NHS are working really hard to look after these people. Technique 2. Worry time. Secondly, allow the people that you care for some time to talk about their worries. You could do this by allocating some worry time during the day. Try allocating this at a time that would be most helpful, and ideally not just before bedtime. The worry time could be then written down in their schedule, or a visual reminder could be created so that they know when they're able to discuss it with you. This could be setting some time in the day where you both sit down with a cup of tea and they're able to talk to you about everything that's worrying them. Between worry times, perhaps they could make a worry box and write or draw their worries to put in there and talk to you about them later. Technique 3. Acknowledging your own feelings. Next, it can be important to acknowledge your own feelings about coronavirus and delicately and thoughtfully share these with the people that you care for, but in an emotionally safe way. For example, saying, I feel a bit sad about not seeing my friends too, but for now we're safe at home. This will help them to see that worry and sadness is normal and experienced by other people, and will show that you're trying to understand their emotions. However, sharing your emotions should be done carefully to avoid increasing the anxiety of the person that you care for. For example, saying, I'm terrified of coronavirus and I spend all day worrying about it, might lead the person you care for to worry more. Helping someone to name the emotions that they're feeling can be a really helpful, containing way to support them with something that might otherwise feel quite unknown or scary. If it would help, you could both try to draw your feelings out and show what they might look like in a picture instead. Technique 4. Share our coping strategies. Another strategy you could try is to share your own coping strategies. Have a think about what your own ways of reducing anxiety are. This might be listening to relaxing music or doing some light exercise. Try doing these activities together to show the people that you care for how they make you feel less worried. Encourage and help them to think about their own coping strategies that they've used in the past. Technique 5. Limit exposure to the news. Where possible, limit exposure to the news. Whilst it's important to be open and honest about what's happening in the world, having the TV on all day with the news on may increase the person's anxiety. Support access to the information in a manageable and ability-appropriate way. Keep the facts communicated in an understandable way for the person that you care for, and try not to overload them with jargon. The Coronavirus Senate documents linked below are really helpful resources and have helpful ideas about how to share this information. Technique 6. Keep in touch with old routines. Keep in touch with any old routines that you can. This might be helping the person you care for speak to loved ones, friends, family and carers via video call, or replicating some of their existing schedule from pre-coronavirus times at home if you can, like cooking on a Thursday evening being a task that you carry on doing together. Technique 7. Model kindness to ourselves. Be kind to yourself, as well as the people that you care for. People find it hard to get anything done when they're feeling worried, and that's okay and understandable. Model this kindness to yourself and try to demonstrate to the person you care for how to be kind to themselves too. Notice the kind of voice you use towards yourself and others when you're feeling worried. Using a soft, soothing voice has been proven to help calm down our nervous system and help us to feel better. This is an overview of some of the strategies you can try to help support some of the anxiety that the person you care for might be feeling. This is a really important way of helping to protect against the experience feeling traumatic and instead supporting their resilience. Other videos in this series will show you how to help the person you care for practice specific anxiety reduction techniques, and they'll be linked below.